Welcome back. You're listening to Gene Robertson at American Dreams. The sky is the limit. For those who are just joining us, we are sharing the wisdom of Jessica Roemischer, whose pedagogical lineage links to Frederic Chopin and Ludwig van Beethoven. Incredible. And I mentioned that pedagogical. I can't even pronounce that word. But anyway, so welcome back, Jessica.
Thanks, Jen.
Yeah, we were talking about that, improvising the duet, in duet with your students to help them to transform. And so I think that's very important. The people, when we look at, they should look at what they have and see how they can improvise to support not only themselves and other people. And you looks like you've done great job in that respect. So, but I'm curious that what kind of transformations do you see in your students, and can you share some examples?
Yes, absolutely. One of the most striking ones occurred for me actually this past summer. I was traveling in Australia. My husband's Australian, and we were visiting family and friends. And I had an opportunity, a sort of unexpected opportunity, to work with a girl who was in probably 14 or 15. And she was in protective custody. She was, I don't actually know all of what happened to her, but there is no question it was bad. And I sat with her at this beat-up old piano, and we started together. And over the next 3 or 4 minutes, as we began to play, she didn't really have any musical background, but I could see the music inside of her. She loved music, and I used some chords from a piece a song that she loved, and I asked her just to begin playing on the white notes, and that's often what I'll ask somebody to do, is just play on the white notes, which is easy for all of my students, regardless, to do. So she began to play, and I had just met her, so here we were sitting together in this facility, and she began to become freer. Her fingers started to move across the keys, and she became inspired by what she was hearing coming out of her hands. And at a point I turned and looked at her, and I saw her face that she was happy, that I saw the pain drop out, and I saw her look like a child again, an innocent young girl, which is what she really is and was. And that image of her face continues to remain with me, because that is the transforming potential of not only what I'm doing, but of any opportunity that a person may encounter in which they're allowed to actually simply fully be themselves. I'm using music as the way to do that, and it's a particularly good medium for what I'm describing.
Why her? How did you meet her, and what prompted you to get into music with her?
Well, it was unfortunately I can't actually describe all the details because of the reasons I had mentioned, but it was an unexpected opportunity, and there happened to be a piano where she was. So I decided to go, and so I sat with her, and what I just described is actually what unfolded, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I understand. And actually, we can be locked up, or we can go through the amazing obstacles physically.
Yes.
But there is another part of our body and our lives that we can be free. Anyway, nobody can stop it, really. Like
That's
the
right.
world of imagination, nobody can stop that. I mean, at least the modern technology, they cannot stop me imagining me becoming the Secretary of State of America or things like that.
Right, right, that's right.
And that, for her, she might be locked up in the cell or whatever, but her imagination and her feelings and then her love for music, she can be free writing on the music melody, go anywhere she wants to go and meet anyone she wants to meet. So I think that's kind of freeing the people, and music can help in amazing way too. And you are the medium of using that.
Yes, well, absolutely, Jen. I mean, it's absolutely true, and I think part of what makes this powerful is that what I'm realizing is that people actually have rarely experienced, even people who are relatively well off, I mean, who are highly educated, and I can say this with some context of observation because I've been doing it since I graduated from college in the early 80s, and so I've seen many, many different people, but I'm quite amazed that the opportunity for an individual to encounter a relationship or encounter a situation in which they feel completely safe and completely seen and heard for who they are. And then you add the music, which becomes their medium of communication and expressiveness. It's just extraordinary to me.
Yeah,
what comes out.
Great part about it is that you can kind of utilize the imagination or music or dance or whatever to help you to get away from that, immediate obstacles. And then those, amazingly, those music and imagination and all those in return making the physical situation better and easier and more livable. So
yeah,
and so anyway, so
that's my vision, and that is my hope for anyone with whom I'm working, that will become a source of strength that they didn't have before.
Yeah, I think the people who get to meet you are the lucky people, to save the people, actually. So that would be, I hope you have many, many, many more of those meeting on your way and to help them too. But anyway, so you have written, the ability to express beauty is inherent in us all and unfettered by any limitation. I guess we were talking about it a little bit, but can you tell us what you mean and in a little more detail?
Certainly. Well, I began to see this when I was working with and continue to work with people with various disabilities and developmental disabilities. And I see in that work, it opened my own eyes to this fact because it became apparent to me that somebody, for example, with Down syndrome or somebody, for example, with autism, was expressing themselves in improvised duet with me, in a way that conveyed extraordinary subtlety, way beyond what they may be able to express in language, for example. And so it disengaged that ability to express beauty from whatever else was going on in the person's life, you see, and whether that was a physical limitation or a developmental limitation, cognitive, or, as in the case of the girl that I just described, some horrible background of experience. There's this point, and you just said it really, Jen, there is this place in us that is actually free of that, but it needs the right conditions. For most people, it needs the right conditions to come alive. So all I'm doing is I'm just providing the conditions for that place in us that's free and already free, just as you beautifully said, to arise and to become apparent to me, to the individual themselves, and to anyone else who's actually witnessing this.
I want to hear more about the people you work, people with disabilities, and we have only 1 minute to go before another break. Can you believe that? But so, can you? When did you start working with the people with, especially that Down syndrome? Because, as I mentioned, as I was listening to you, just the idea came to me, and maybe I should provide a piano for my brother, although I can't have Jessica here, but and while he's
well, I want to say, Jen, I actually work with people over Skype, so feel free to be in touch with me. I love it, and it seems to be possible to work with people online these days, and I think your impulse is right in terms of perhaps having a piano there.
Yeah, as I was listening, I see a vision that the piano in the place where he lives, and then have him play with it and play with it actually, and see what happens. And because those people with Down syndrome seems like they can be, it's like almost autism. They are great in one particular point, and more mechanical areas, they can become really good at. So I want to talk a little more about that when we come back. Okay?
Okay.